What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Tottenham update for you guys. A few snippets to get through. We're going to start off with Ange Postecoglou, as Romano has given us the FIFA Best Coach of the Year nominees. And it goes Pep Guardiola, Simeone Inzaghi, Luciano Spalletti, Javi Hernandez, and our very own Ange Postecoglou. Unbelievable stuff for him to be nominated for FIFA Manager of the Year when, you know, he won a treble at Celtic. But surely there are managers around like European football that have got better achievements than winning the SPL.
Nah, come on, Ange Postecoglou, you won a treble, mate. You won a treble. You got to
in Scotland,
give him the
though.
credit. You won the treble. You won it with aplomb. It's about how you win things. It's about the panache. And he's won his first a few games as Spurs manager.
Well, you know what? Winning against Bournemouth and Burnley, you know, you definitely got to be nominated for that.
I was going to say he's the only treble winner on there, but he isn't. Pep obviously won the treble, but whose treble's more impressive? I'll let you decide in the comments who had the more impressive treble, Ange or Pep Guardiola. But I'm glad for him. There's no Arteta there as well, so I'm glad that the FIFA Best Awards are acknowledging quality where they see it. So I'm excited for him. Hopefully everyone get voting. I think
are you not a bit confused why he's been nominated though?
He won the treble.
I know you keep saying that,
he
but
won the treble. What do you want me to say? He won the treble playing good football.
All right, whatever.
Big up to Ange. Why would I care he's been nominated?
Look, I'm saying big up, but it's a conversation to have. I'm just asking you, like, what are your actual thoughts about it?
Well, who else should be nominated?
Well, haven't even thought that far. So you got Italy in Spalletti, you've got Spain in Javi, you've got Inzaghi who got to the Champions League final.
Yeah, they're all there.
What about David Moyes for winning the Conference League?
I think winning the treble with Celtic goes above it.
I mean, Celtic win the league like what, 9 times out of the last 10 years.
But they finished. Where did they finish the league? Like 14th, 15th.
Yeah.
So you can't be nominated for a Manager of the Year when you finish that low.
But winning a Conference League is like mental achievement for West Ham.
But I mean, he was on the brink of sack. How many times last season?
It's true.
So I don't think you can put him in. Who won the Europa League last year? Sevilla.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could maybe...
That manager, I mean, he just came in and completely revolutionised Sevilla.
He was in charge of them for like 3 months.
Yeah.
So again, can you give him the Manager of the Year for 3 months' work? So, unless you want to say, well, unless you're putting a case forward for Arteta...
Obviously not.
Then Ange Postecoglou gets in there. Come on.
All right. I mean, look, it might sound like I'm not happy I'm very happy about Ange being nominated there, and I've already texted all my Arsenal mates to say, where's Arteta there? But I don't know. It's look, it's a great achievement for him. Who do you think wins it out of them?
So are you saying then, unless you win the Champions League as Celtic manager, it's impossible to be nominated as a Celtic manager?
I think like there has been like on paper better jobs done by Celtic managers.
No one's played the football Ange played.
It's true, but Brendan Rodgers did the job that Ange did and went unbeaten.
It's true. I don't know. Maybe he was nominated.
Yeah, I don't know if he was. He might have been.
Yeah, he could have been nominated.
He might have been. I don't know. I just feel like it should be someone from maybe Europe's top 5 leagues as opposed to Celtic.
So you're saying it is impossible as Celtic manager to be nominated unless you win the Champions League or Europa League? Or
go really far. Like if he got to the semi-finals of the Champions League, then yeah, and did what he did, then yeah, I think he should be nominated. But I mean, for just achievements within Scotland, I'm not too sure.
All right, well, I'm going to defer to the experts on this one. I don't really have a strong opinion. I think everyone who needs to be nominated is there. I can't really think of any managers they've really left out, which are big howlers. So with the football Postecoglou plays, I'm happy he's there. I think he deserves it.
Well, let's hope he wins it now.
Yeah, come on.
Bring it home, Ange. Charlie Eccleshare has been doing an article talking about Ange and the Spurs team and how he's managing stuff at the moment. Going to read out a few snippets, and he has said one of Postecoglou's key messages to the Spurs players have been that the dressing room space is theirs and that he wants players to drive the cultural changes needed at the club. And then he says, unless the situation becomes unsalvageable, Captain Heung-min Son and deputies James Maddison and Cuti Romero are left to sort out any player issues. That's quite an interesting one. And Ange Postecoglou has tweaked things so that the night before a home match game, players and staff get to sleep in their own bed rather than at the training ground, giving them one night less away from their families. And he also says that some at Tottenham say that Ange Postecoglou's team talks are the best they've ever heard.
Come on.
So Ange making a lot of changes there. In terms of the one where he's got the players sleeping at home the night before games. I think that's one that Antonio Conte actually changed from that to they have to stay in the lodge the night before the game and they all travel to the game together and stuff. I mean, do you have any strong opinions on any of those?
On that one, I don't have a strong opinion. I just think it's nice that Ange acknowledges that time with the family is important, and the fact that he can kind of make room for players to have that time with their families. I'm sure they will acknowledge that, and they'll kind of see him in a better light because of that. So I think it's all about team bonding. When it comes to the comment you said about he leaves the player issues to the players to sort out unless they're unresolvable, which I think is quite interesting. I'm glad he does that because I think it's all well and good players being named captain and in this leadership group, but unless they have responsibilities, then it's only in name rather than in practice. So I think he's giving these players the responsibilities, treating them like adults, not like children. He's saying, look, you guys are big boys, you can sort out these issues yourselves. You don't need me to step in every time. And I'm happy about that. But the only thing I would say is it's going to get very interesting because it's something that we discussed on the panel show about that the leadership group essentially is still there, apart from Kane, from last season. And we've got a new leadership group now, Romero, Maddison, Son, and with the players now being left to themselves to kind of work out situations, I do wonder how things will play out if, maybe, because I wonder if Dyer, Højbjerg and Lloris might feel they have a bigger voice in the dressing room than they actually do, considering they were the leadership group last year. So will there any conflict arise because of that situation, or will they be able to sort it out within themselves? I think it is an interesting situation. I would like to think that they're all mature enough and professional enough to put it aside, but you never know. These situations can cause problems.
I'm not really worried about Lloris. I think that he knows that he wasn't going to be part of this group. He didn't think he was even going to be here. Never mind part of the group. He was the one that came out and said, he wants a fresh challenge and everything like that. Now he is here. I still think he has a lot of love for Tottenham. And I think that he'll just want to see the team thrive. I think he knows that he's probably not going to get any minutes either way. So I think like Hugo Lloris's role from what I, in my head, is more of like a mentor, more of like a coaching and like mentoring to the younger players and also to the other goalkeepers in the squad. So I think that's a good role for Hugo Lloris to take up. And I also think like maybe he might not be like in the leadership group and a vice captain or a captain, but I still think he'll hold quite a lot of weight in terms of following his lead, in terms of how to conduct yourself behind the scenes and stuff like that. So I think Højbjerg as well. I think Højbjerg is a very professional guy, and I think that you saw the comments that came out from international duty, what he was talking about as well. I think he'll just work his hardest to try get him back in that team. And the only one I see being a big problem is Eric Dyer, because I think he feels that he should be there. He should be in the leadership group. He should be in that first team. And I think he's the problem guy, in my opinion.
If there is a problem guy, yeah, it'll be interesting. It's impossible to say if there will be problems, but I do think it's an interesting dynamic because it's something that we probably didn't consider happening at the beginning of the window, and now we're here.
Yeah.
And let's just see how it plays out.
It's interesting though, because like Ange has done this everywhere he's gone. He's like completely reshaped everything from playing staff to leadership to captains to everything. And it's great to see it coming to fruition at Tottenham. Another one on Ange saying Spurs have scored more than 2 goals in all 4 of their league games under Ange. Only 4 managers have seen their side score at least twice in each of their first 5 games in the Premier League. And that was Carlo Ancelotti in 2009, Pep Guardiola in 2016, Maurizio Sarri in 2018, and Craig Shakespeare in 2017.
So I was about to say a lot among some really good names. Shakespeare's in there. So look, I think that Shakespeare spell was just after they sat Ranieri in there, a bit of a balance, didn't they? So look, there's some good names in there, but unfortunately, because Shakespeare's in there, you can't read too much into it. Really.
Shakespeare's the odd one out there.
Shakespeare's the odd one out. Postecoglou ain't the odd one out. He's the rule, not the exception.
Exactly. Let's move on and let's talk about some potential transfer business next summer. Michael Merino of Real Sociedad, as Fichajes say that Tottenham have included Real Sociedad's midfielder Mikel Merino in their transfer list for next season. I mean, what do you know about him?
I know he's a player that used to play for Newcastle a very short spell, and they let him go within, I think, a year. But he's actually gone on to become a really good central midfielder. Yeah, I think he actually, if I remember rightly, I think he started for Spain in midweek as well when they played Cyprus, I think. He plays central midfielder, more of a box to box, but he's a very good on the ball technician, but he's also really good defensively as well. Big fan of his, actually. I think he's a really good player, but we've got so many centre mids. I don't know why we'd be looking at transfer lists already in a year's
Succession
time.
planning, no?
I get it, but for who? Who is
Højbjerg?
Yeah, but we've got Sarr, we've got Skip, Bentancur coming back. Look, I guess you can never stop. So
We never stop.
So I'm all happy, but it's hard to get too excited about potential transfers. Like you don't know what's going to be in a year's time.
Yeah, I mean, look, they know more behind the scenes what they're planning with outgoings and incomings and stuff like that. But there's also a case to say if Skip doesn't kick on this season, you know, there's a case to say that he might see the exit door in the summer or in a couple of years' time and might have to do a succession plan for him and Højbjerg. And if that's the case, then we do need a midfielder.
Yeah, 100%. So, look, I've definitely, he has my seal of approval. I think he's a really good midfielder. Didn't have a great time of it in the Premier League, but I think he's really, when he was last year, but I think he's really gone away and improved a lot as a player. And he's become a really good central midfielder. So I think he's good.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk about Luka Vuskovic again, the new 16-year-old Tottenham star. Romano says that to see that project was crucial for Luka Vuskovic. He told Hajduk not to negotiate with any other club. He only wanted to go to Tottenham. And then he says, from what I'm hearing, the medical will take place very early next week. Vuskovic will complete the medical test as a new Tottenham player. It won't be a small feat as well. It's also an important fee for a 16-year-old boy. It won't be 1 million or 2 million. It will be way more than this. And I have seen reports elsewhere saying it's around 12 million.
12. Well, I think Ali Gold confirmed that Man City had a 10 million euro bid rejected about 6 months ago. So I wonder if it's going to be significantly more than that. 12 million makes sense. 12 million for a 16-year-old is crazy money. But look, if he's that talented and you believe in him and you've done your scouting and you believe this guy could be the next big thing, it could be worth it 100%. I do wonder what we do with him. So, like, next, is he going to remain at Hajduk? Because he's only going to come into the first team in 2025, or into the Spurs, sorry, in 2025. So, is he going to remain at Hajduk Split until then? Are we going to loan him out to somewhere else? Is anyone else going to want a 17-year-old or 16-year-old?
I think Hajduk is the best place for him, in my opinion.
So maybe just remain at Hajduk Split for now. I think that'll probably be the best thing.
I think it's the best thing for him because at Hajduk, it's where he knows, he's developing well. He's developed to this stage already. He's 16 years old and already getting first team minutes there. So I can't really think, like, will he go to any other club at a high level and get minutes as centre-back at a 16-year-old?
He's not going to get like a championship move at that age. And even League One and League Two, it's going to be very difficult. 16 is so young. Yeah. It's crazy how young he is and he's starting games.
Even when he comes here in 2 years at 18, he's going to be too young.
It's mad. So I don't think anyone in England will probably take a risk on him. So I think probably, keep it Hajduk. But we must be seriously convinced by him to pay that kind of fee. Yeah. But it's something we haven't really done before, apart from we signed Alfie Devine at 16, didn't we? But that was maybe 5 million, I think.
We have signed quite a few players at that young age. I think Iago Santiago as well, who's in the not for that fee. No, not for that fee.
That's something Chelsea would do. So I think that's a good thing to do.
But I think that's what you're seeing right now is the model at Tottenham in terms of recruitment, in terms of what kind of players that have come in, has completely been revolutionised since Paratici has come in. I mean, we even spent, how much did we spend on Pape Matar as like an 18-year-old kid?
That was what? 15 million, was it?
See, 15, that's a significant fee. Maybe? It's a significant fee for what he was at the time.
Yeah. Do you reckon maybe as well we're signing him, like we're just getting in there very early because you can see in Pape Matar next year he's going to count as homegrown because he's been with us for so long. And maybe that's the case, is that, well, we need to up that homegrown quota. Maybe we're thinking if we get them at a very young age, they'll be homegrown by the time they're ready for the first team. Yeah,
I think so. And I think it's a really smart move, to be honest. And you can see, like, we've done so many videos of how we're struggling for the homegrown quota. And you're looking at the squad now with all the young players coming through. It's not going to be an issue in a couple of years' time, 2-3 years' time. But it's just how we fill that gap from now until then, to be honest. But let's move on to the last story of the update. And Tottenham Hotspur and the National Football League, the NFL, today have announced the expansion of their partnership through to the 29-30 NFL season. As part of the agreement, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium will be given official status as home of the NFL in the UK. Under terms of the expanded partnership, a minimum of 2 regular season NFL games a year will continue to be played at the world-class multi-use stadium, the only stadium purpose-built for the NFL games outside of the US, with bespoke facilities, including its own playing service, locker rooms, and media areas. The first of its kind partnership has already delivered a series on unforgettable games in front of a sold-out crowds in Tottenham, with 12 of the league's 32 teams having already experienced the stadium. 2 games are set to be played during the 2023 NFL London games in October. So that's been extended. And I was about to say we were all worrying, or I was thinking maybe the hierarchy was worrying that this deal was going to fall on its face with the whole Joe Lewis news coming out, but that seems to be not the case.
Yeah, clearly they're not worried about it, so it's not really a factor. I'm happy about it. It means more money for the club, hopefully. Cross my fingers. We all know that whether the money will go in back to the football team remains to be seen. But look, we've got to be credit where credit's due. We are spending a bit. We have definitely started spending a bit more money since we moved into the stadium than beforehand. So I think you have to say, look, whether we spend it correctly or smartly, that's a different subject. But I think we've averaged over 100 million probably in every summer window since we moved into the stadium, I believe. So clearly there is more money coming into the footballing side of things, and I think things like that will only benefit. So I'm not mad about it. I think it's good for the club overall to extend the partnership. And yeah, there was a bit of rumours like, will the Joe Lewis thing affect it? But it clearly has no effect. So it's all good.
All right. So
and I guess one other thing to mention, just a few about players in training today, because there was a few worries about injuries, weren't there, about internationals. But it's good to see Son was pictured in training with no ice pack. He seems all right. Romero was also there. Lo Celso, who's said to be a doubt, he was also pictured in training. And Bentancur seems to be back with the group as well, which could be very encouraging. So maybe Bentancur could be back sooner than we think, I'm hoping. Because what did Ange say before
next
the break?
month, isn't it?
But he said like Bentancur was like every day getting on, I want to be back training with the group. I want to be back training. And the doctor said, yeah, he's not quite there, but maybe he's getting closer, it looks like, which is really encouraging.
Great stuff. I mean, we're very close to a fully fit squad now. Very close. So it seems that that's just round the corner. It'll be interesting to see when Bentancur is back fully fit, what happens with Pape Matar and the 3 in midfield. Like, does Bentancur go straight back in? Does he wean him in? Like, what does he do? It's going to be interesting to see.
Depends how Pape's playing at the time as well. Depends how ready Bentancur is to play 90 minutes and stuff like that. But I think it's good problems to have, because I think when you've got too many good players to choose from, that's the good problem to have. That's the problem you want.
I just cannot wait. I cannot. You know how when we got Ndombele and Lo Celso in, and we were like, oh, we can't wait for the trifecta. We can't wait. And it's just like, it never came in.
Yeah,
it never came in, basically. But I think this one is very much more likely when you're looking at Bissouma, Bentancur, Maddison as a 3. I mean, that is an unbelievable midfield.
I need that. I need to see that.
Yeah, 100%. Especially in an Ange system as well. I think that all 3 of them are so suited to that role. But look, that's what we got to look forward to as Spurs fans this season. But that is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts regarding all the news stories we brought to you today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.